College Football Hangover Podcast, and I Live for Saturdays, the best college football channel on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at I Live for Saturdays. 4, as in the number 4. Like, comment, and subscribe, and also follow us on Vine. And yeah, we haven't been around for a while. Quick explanation. Our computer went down and Wi-Fi wasn't working, so we had to fix that. Now we're come to a fix. And today, I'm here with the big O, Omar. So what's up?
What's up, people?
And a pretty nice day in college football. There were some nice games around. I think my favorite game this week was Oregon and Stanford. Fantastic game. Two great teams in a big game. I know I talked about, I'm always excited about that game. And I know I was saying all week how excited I was about that game. I love Oregon versus Stanford. Two styles that are completely different. One is up-tempo, no huddle, super fast kids against big, powerful, old school football. It was fantastic. I love the game.
Hell of a finish.
It was fantastic. I love the game. It was awesome.
Yeah, my favorite this week was the Oklahoma-Baylor game. I thought I cannot say enough about Bob Stoops and what a great job he's been doing this year. And I hope my favorite team could get a coach like Bob Stoops, Miami. And, right now, Al Golden's gone. The excuses are gone after well, I don't want to say the excuses are gone because if we lose the next few games, maybe some people could say some things about like, oh, well, we don't have a real head coach. But now that, the search committee has been announced today.
Which was hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, which is hilarious why somebody would actually even write an article about that.
So the story is Omar was on his phone. And he got really excited because it said Miami announces, and on the next line of the headline.
No. What it said was, Miami announces head coach, and then the next line said search committee.
There you go.
That was like a total
slap in the face.
What?
That's awesome. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. And who was on that search committee, Omar?
Just a few names that I remember. Vinny Testaverde, Heisman Trophy winner, and Jonathan Vilma, great linebacker, of course. Yeah. And a bunch of other people. I think some of them are boosters or something. I'm not really sure.
See, that would have been cool. They should have said Vinny Testaverde and Jonathan Vilma on the committee to find a new head coach. And I would have been interested. If I was a Miami fan, I would have been interested in that. That would have been cool. But damn, they just kicked everyone in the nuts with that post, with that headline.
Yeah, I know. And, I really hope that the next Miami coach is a guy who, really understands what this program is. Because it's such a different place to coach than everywhere else. This is just a different place, You have the best recruits that anybody could possibly ask for right next door. But at the same time, you have a lot of inner problems, with the stadium stuff. With the stadium problems, you have to drive 40 miles just to see a home game.
Before the podcast started, Omar actually described his ideal head coach, and it had something to do with a guy that's been with a great coach before and all this other stuff and has connections to Miami. And he pretty much described the guy that he's been resistant, I guess hesitant to welcome, in Mario Cristobal, which I've been saying is the perfect guy for Miami, a guy who was completely disrespected by Florida International, which thought they were like Alabama when they went 5-7. They were like, "Oh, this is unacceptable, Mario Cristobal. You can't go 5-7." Like, no, you're FIU. You're nobody. That is like the winning the Super Bowl for Florida International.
Yeah, you're looking at like the 4th tier kids in Florida.
No, they get the 10th tier kids. They don't get the 4th tier. They get like in the 11 in the teens area. That's where they get. Alabama and Georgia, they'll go in and pick them apart. They're getting like freaking 1-star guys from Florida. Please. They don't get no 4th tier Florida International. But yeah, I think Mario Cristobal. Me personally, I think Mario Cristobal is the perfect guy for the job.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rumors. I've heard Lane Kiffin, which God forbid that ever happened. I can't imagine that guy ever getting a head coaching job anywhere that's in a Power 5 conference. A few other names, Butch Davis, which everybody wants. I really don't. I'm not sold on. I don't think Butch Davis would be a great fit. It's just
who would you want if you had a wish list? Just one guy, or if you want to name multiple guys, but at least one. Who's your main guy? Who do you really want right now?
I would love Mark Stoops.
Mark Stoops.
Yeah, I feel like that guy. Just the amount. Like, it's just crazy how much Kentucky's loses a lot, but they're a pretty competitive team, and just the fact that he's doing that in Kentucky.
Kentucky doesn't even get the first tier Kentucky players. They don't even get. And Mark Stoops is doing really good. That would be a really nice hire. I don't know. I think he's more of a guy that's usually in for the long haul of all the teams that's ever been. At least he tries his best to do that. So we'll see.
I've also been thinking about the Georgia coach,
Mark Richt.
I feel like he'd be a good fit. He's a guy who also has ties to Miami.
That's actually my guy, and people don't understand. He's the perfect fit. Like, Virginia Tech fans. Again, Virginia Tech fan. I'm a Virginia Tech fan. Virginia Tech fans don't understand how much Frank Beamer doesn't care that much about winning a national championship, and neither does Mark Richt. He'll have a competing team, and he will teach great life lessons, and that's the type of guy every parent wants. The only thing about Mark Richt, obviously, he doesn't really care about winning a national championship, which I obviously do because I'm greedy. My guy is actually my main guy is Rich Rod, but
I was gonna say Rich Rod for Miami as well. I think Rich Rod would be a great fit at Miami.
But obviously, everyone's got problems with him. I guess because of the Michigan thing happened, but I don't know. I like to win games. I'm crazy like that. Yeah. Anyway. So what we're showing you guys here now, hopefully we're showing you. I hope it worked out. If not, then I'm just talking to you through some pictures throughout the week. But anyway, what I'm trying to show you is how I do my rankings. As you can see already, hopefully you can see already, we have, or at least I have, Clemson at number 1, Oklahoma State number 2, Alabama number 3, and Iowa number 4. And the numbers that you're looking at, I'm going to try to explain really quickly. First thing is record. Obviously, that's obvious. SOS means strength of schedule. And A record, B record, C record. That just has to do. A is literally like your grades, right? The top 10%. It's the top 10 percentile of all the teams who you've beaten or your record against them. B is in the top 20%ish, 20% I guess, 11 to 20% I guess that's what it would be. And then C would be 21 to 30 percentile of the teams that you guys have beaten. So yeah, you can look through that and through all those stats and the raw numbers, because I'm a huge fan of raw numbers. I think if you get every single possible raw number that you can get, I think it tells a great story. And to me, this is what it shows. So I love Clemson as number 1, Oklahoma State number 2, Alabama number 3, Iowa number 4. And hopefully I also showed you Ohio State number 5 and Notre Dame number 6. So those are the teams that are looking in. And Oklahoma 7, Florida there, and Houston number 9. And big shout out to Something About Football, I guess, at FF Dynasty 101 on Twitter. Shout out to him. He asked a question for the podcast this week. And if you guys want, you can ask a question. As many questions as you want, and we'll try to include it in the podcast. And we'll also give you a shout-out. So shout-out to you, FF Dynasty 101. He asked, if for some miracle reason Florida wins the SEC champ game, should they be in the discussion to be in the college football playoff? Right now, I like Florida. And if they beat Alabama, obviously, the Alabama would be eliminated. So there's that. Right now, Pac-12 team, it doesn't look like a Pac-12 team is getting in. Everyone's got like 2 losses. Yeah. It doesn't look like a Pac-12. Yeah, Pac-12 teams have destroyed themselves completely. Ohio State and Iowa are gonna eat each other as well, no matter what happens. So that there's already still 1 spot left, and then you're looking at Notre Dame or a Big 12 team, and that's just gonna be tough to beat Notre Dame in anything in terms of when it comes to voting or TV rights or getting a selection. To beat Notre Dame is not easy. I would give, if they win out, I would give Notre Dame the slight edge. That's just me. Notre Dame's got a really solid schedule. You see their margin of victory is a little bit better than Florida, and they'll probably grow. Their strength of schedules will probably be near the same, and they're Notre Dame, so they're going to get the nod. So that's just me. Right now, obviously, I'm not a predictor. I don't know what it's going to happen. I don't have the numbers in front of me. It's going to be a good argument. It'll be a very good argument for Florida and Notre Dame. The thing about Notre Dame, they have a very good loss against Clemson, against the number one team. And you could see their A record if you look through it. And that's what's coming down for Florida. They got that great loss. Florida, they got a loss against LSU that doesn't look that great anymore. And we'll see what happens.
When they first lost to LSU, that looked great. But I mean, just what's happened the last 2 weeks at LSU. It's gonna be tough to put Florida in there. But I think it's possible. I think
if Notre Dame loses
something. Yeah.
Notre Dame loses.
Sure.
Florida wins out. I think that's literally all has to happen for anyone that roots for Florida or wants Florida in for some weird reason. Or if pretty much it's all needs to happen. Notre Dame loses and Florida wins out.
Yeah. Or let's say if Iowa loses, but they still beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
I could see Florida.
And shout out to Houston, by the way, their first big-time win this week against Memphis, which actually gives them a B win in the top 20 percentile. They got a nice resume. I don't like their strength of schedule, but they are beating up teams pretty bad.
Yeah. Shout out to Houston, man. They were down by, what was it, about 20 points?
Something like that, yeah.
They were down 20 points, scored a touchdown right before the half. Momentum changer, changed the whole game. They came back. They won it. They don't mess around over there in Houston.
Yeah, they have a good football team. They probably won't get in the playoff. They're our number 9. But they'll get the automatic bowl bid.
Yeah, and I'd say, man, actually it depends who they play, but I feel like they'd have either way. I honestly, anybody they play in that bowl game, I'd pick Houston. I can't really.
Houston's fantastic.
Houston's great.
They are fantastic.
I think people sleep on Houston too much.
Yeah. Are they? I don't think they're a top 4 team, but they're very, very good. They're a tough team.
Yeah, you can't mess around with Houston.
And what we were just talking about, in terms of loss, and we just said Florida, it was a good loss. That loss of LSU doesn't look so good anymore. This is one thing about college football that we've never really come as a whole, as a community of college football lovers, and asked ourselves, what the hell does a loss mean? What the hell does a loss mean? In the NFL, if you have too many losses, you don't make the playoffs. If you lose in the playoffs, you're out of the playoffs. If you lose in the Super Bowl, you don't win the Super Bowl. That's what the loss means. That's what losing means. In college football, we have this weird thing where hey, you lost, but that's a good loss. Actually, that loss looks good. That actually looks better than other teams beating other. It doesn't make sense. It's really weird. That's the only thing I don't understand. And even me, I'm all for teams that are undefeated as long as they're beating decent teams. I'll take a team that's undefeated over most teams that have quote unquote good losses, whatever the hell that means. Obviously, with Alabama, it's an extreme case. They have an incredible resume, and they're lost against a B team, a B ranked team, which is okay. So yeah, what the hell does a loss mean?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I never even really thought about it like that until you mentioned it to me, and honestly, it felt like a glass breaking. You know how when something's we don't realize something until someone brings it up. We don't notice something until somebody brings it up, and then just the whole world just what?
Yeah, and I've been asking this question for a long time. What does a loss mean? And I've never gotten a straight answer. I just get, hey, that team lost to, that's actually good for you. And it's I don't understand, why is that good for you?
And college football is pretty much the only sport where you could really say that. College basketball, you lose one game, you're a 1 seed regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in soccer, if you don't win, you get 0 points, right? If you win, you get 3 points, right? If you don't win, if you lose, draws 1 point. If you lose, you get 0 points. NBA, if you have too many losses, you don't make the playoffs. Same thing like NFL. Every sport has it, but then we don't know what the hell is, or at least major sport has it, but we don't know what the hell a loss means. We're all that loss, that loss, that's actually bad. You look at Oklahoma, and everyone is loving Oklahoma now, right? Everyone loves Oklahoma, but everyone forgets they lost to a terrible team. They lost to a Texas team that's awful. And now everyone loves Oklahoma. So it's so weird. And Oklahoma's in who was that? I don't even know who he is. He's on college championship drive, college football championship drive, something like that. Some dude with some glasses. I guess I should know his name, but he had Oklahoma number 4, and I was like, okay, well let me look at my numbers. And to me, it doesn't make sense. I mean, the team that Oklahoma lost to, is it even a B, or a C ranked team? They ain't in the top 30 percentile. Texas is a bad team, and somehow you put them in. It's so weird. This is such a weird sport. This is why I say forget about all this talk and eye test. Can we just go raw numbers and just look at every single raw number and just say, yo, we like this team because we have some facts to back it up.
Yeah, I've never really been a big fan of the eye test either. You know, I always feel like the eye test. A lot of people think that the numbers don't tell the whole story, but to me, I always feel like it's the opposite. You know, I always feel like the eye test. You know, I don't know, because you never know when a team is gonna have a bad week. You know, I mean, and not even lose a game, but like just not win the game by as much points. Even that could hurt you.
And this is and I'm gonna try to end this soon, but this is my problem with the eye test. Alabama, after they won their national championship, and I think the year was 2010, they had an amazing talent. They had incredible talent. Their talent went to the NFL. Right? Tons of draft picks. I think 2011 draft. They had tons of draft picks. But they went 9-3. So, eye test was telling me Alabama's amazing. But they had 3 losses. So no one cared about them. So if eye test, a team has 3 losses or 4 losses, 5 losses, they lose every single game. But eye test, they're amazing and they're all getting drafted. What the hell does eye test mean then? I don't like eye tests at all. It's such a weird thing. Also, another example, in 2010, Boise State, to me, eye test was the best team in the country. And actually, they had a ton of kids drafted that year. But Auburn and Oregon won out. They were undefeated, and they got in, and deservedly so. Good for them. But eye test, to me, was telling me Boise State was the best team in the country.
But, at the same time, think about a few years when Wisconsin played Stanford. Okay, when Wisconsin played Stanford, they lost, I think it was 5 games. They went toe-to-toe with that Stanford team, and everybody thought they were going to get blown out. So I guess you could kind of play devil's advocate a little bit. You kind of look at it at both sides. But, which one's more important? Eye test over numbers. I think that's the biggest debate in college football.
No, the biggest debate should be, that is the biggest debate, but it should be, what the hell does a loss mean? Yeah. That's pretty much it, guys. That's all we have today. I feel like we hit a banger today. It feels good to be back.
Yeah, it was great, man. Can't wait to do it next week.
Yeah, for sure. Omar, sign off.
Peace.